Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Atrocious. You can also call me Jake, and today we've got the top 4 match of the EB01 Japan National Championships. It's been a thrilling series so far. 6 rounds we've showcased here on the channel, all previously on YouTube in the EB01 Japan Nationals playlist if you want to go check that out. But we've still got 2 more rounds to go, and in this video we're going to talk about the top 4 as I mentioned. But before we get into that and the decks in the top 4, just want to clarify and say that this is not my stream that I'm watching, no, not the games that I've recorded. This is the official live stream that we're going to be watching and doing unique English commentary on, so no money is going to be made off this, not monetized, anything like that. I'm literally just trying to get practice and learn more about the game and the upcoming metas. So if you want to join and maybe support the channel, just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, maybe leave a comment if you liked it. Anyways, let's get into what you're really here for. So the top 4 decks going in here, we've got Sakazuki and Katakuri advancing on the left side of the bracket. Katakuri taking down the Yamato, and then the Enel falling to the Sakazuki in here. And then on the right side of the bracket, Sakazuki advance in the Sakazuki mirror match. Hoo-wee. We did showcase this person B here. We showcased them in one of the previous rounds, so not surprising. We've seen them on stream before this tournament even, that they advanced. And between Zoro and Uta, it looks like Uta advanced. That doesn't surprise me too much, to be honest, knowing a little bit about Uta, especially since the recent starter deck has released in English and then playing a lot of Zoro lately. But it'll be interesting to see what we watch in this next one. So let's get into this one, this top 4 match. This is the Uta player right here. So we're going to see the Uta versus Sakazuki. We've seen both of these players in previous rounds of the tournament. Oh, look, we have matching deck boxes. Actually, fun fact. And so the Uta has been a surprise in this tournament. There have been 2 Utas that were invited into the national championships out of the 29 players competing in this tournament, and 1 has made it into the top 4. We don't know a ton about the Uta list in terms of different changes that it made, but we do know that it has made 1 in EB01, the new Sanji. So let's see if maybe there are some other changes that we can distinguish in this list in this match against Sakazuki. We've seen Sakazuki do really, really well in this tournament. Just a really good deck overall, arguably the best deck in format in the new EB01 chapter, and definitely arguably the best deck in the OP06, OP05 metas. So if you're looking to play the best deck in format, I think Sakazuki may be it for you. But continuing into this one, if I had to say, we did see the Uta take down a Sakazuki in the previous round, and it was a relatively short game, to be honest. But overall, at least in OP05, a lot of people, at least in my local area and a lot of content creators, say that the deck and archetype struggles a little bit against Sakazuki. So we'll see exactly how it plays out in this one, how far Uta's ceiling can go. I know Uta is a favorite out here in the West, very popular choice, and to be honest, I enjoy playing it as well. It's been a fun new refreshing deck to play the first week of its release in North America. So players cutting up each other's decks at this point, and so it looks like the Uta is actually going first in this one. If they find that new Genesis event card, could work out well for them, and they do have it in their hand there. That 1 cost alternate art event, 2 of them to be exact, so actually really, really good. The Sakazuki player has a pretty decent hand in their own right. A couple searchers. I think they'll let us see the hands a little bit more here in a second, but I saw a couple Tashigis in there, I think a brand new as well. But the Uta, 2 new Genesis and 2 of the new Sanjis, as well as an Usopp. The Sanji, very interesting. I originally thought when we did the EB01 reveal video on the channel, I thought this was going to be more of a late game card because of the extra boost that it gets for the amount of Rested Dawn that you have on the field. But in the previous game that we showed, the Uta, they played the card immediately on the 4 Dawn turn. They played it very early, so I'm curious to see in this game if they follow that same method, or maybe it was just the only option that they had. And so this Sakazuki, 2 Tashigis, a brand new, a Suru, and a Great Eruption. Not a bad hand at all. Able to get some searchers going, and especially going second, having 2 Tashigis means that you're gonna see the top 12 cards of your deck if you decide to use leader effects. So very, very good. I expect them turn 1 to play double Tashigi. If they don't, I'd actually be kind of surprised. But this player, obviously better than I am. We'll see exactly how they decide to play it out. It's also worth noting that I'm not sure what they'll actually use off leader effect. I don't know if they'll use the Suru or the Branu. So we'll have to wait and see. In this 1 Dawn, now they will be able to do 2 searches if they want to, but they're just going to pass. Very interesting, not playing that new Genesis turn 1. And so now on the 2 Dawn turn for the Sakazuki, they're actually going to play Branu over the Tashigi. So looking at the top 3 cards, it's going to be a Great Eruption, a Borsalino, and a 8-drop Kikomoria. So taking that Borsalino, I think that's a good play. Agree. And so now thinking about what to use leader effect, it's going to be one of these Tashigis that they're going to pitch and draw a new card. It looks like another Suru. So another 2K counter in hand. Not too bad. And so now going in with 3 Dawn, going to start out swinging 5 at lead. So probably playing this Usopp down on this turn, and they are going to do that. So saving the new Genesis, it's interesting because maybe the reason that they're doing that is because you only want to use new Genesis when you need to play down a character, right? Or you need to grab a character of some kind. Maybe saving those new Genesis for the 3-blocker Uta effect at the end of the turn. So moving into Sakazuki's turn, they swung 5 and got a life. It's going to be that starter deck 12 Mihawk. And so now thinking about what they want to do, they've got 4 Dawn. There's an Usopp in front of you, but you can't bottom deck it at this point unless you get something off of the leader effect, pitching this Branu right here. You may be able to find something along the lines of like Houndblaze or Amino Murakuma, and it is going to be Amino Murakuma, so, but just going to block her up, play that Borsalino for now, and say pass. Life is 3 Sakazuki, 4 Uta, and so Uta is going to move into the 5 Dawn turn, finding a Brook there. The Brook could be good to lay down that Mihawk later, and now with 5, wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing the Uta leader effect, but going to start off by playing the new Genesis. Look at the top 3 and then find a film card to put in your hand. If your leader is Uta, set a Dawn back as active. So with Uta, basically a free searcher, and so finding a Nami right there, that's really, really nice to be able to attach 1 Dawn to the Uta, get a nice old swing in, but maybe saving that and instead playing down the Brook to go Brook, put down the Nami, and then search with the Nami, but maybe not going to be doing that exact play because they're going to start out swinging 6 with the Usopp. So going to pitch the 2K Tashigi, and so swinging 6 again, asking them to find a 2K counter. Going to find I'm Invincible, one of the strongest events of the Uta deck, allowing to restand the leader. And so going to be an interesting choice here. You could pitch another 2K counter with the Suru, but opting for that life, it's going to be a Rob Lucci. And so playing that 3, going to be the Dracul Mihawk. And with the Dracul Mihawk, playing that Brook rested and then playing that Nami. So I actually really agree with this play, and this is so much better than what I had portrayed. That Dracul Mihawk on play, if you have 2 or less characters, play up to 1 Muggy Kingdom type or / attribute character card with the cost of 4 or less other than Mihawk from your hand rested. That is that Brook. That Brook is a / attribute character. So playing that Brook rested, activated its on play effect to put the Uta down. So disregarding what I had said and instead doing what they did allowed one more character to be caught on the field. So that 5k swing there is going to be a 1k counter on the Zoro, and minusing one of the characters. I'm not 100% sure which one exactly it was, but now on the 6 Dawn turn, we'll see where they decide to go. Swinging the Borsalino. Okay, so going to be swinging the Borsalino, it looks like, at the Brook. Potentially it could be either the Brook or the Life, but either way it's going to be a 2k counter off of that Sanji. So the EB01 Sanji, a 2k counter, and so going to be using leader effect on that Hina, drawing a card and grabbing that Tashigi. Might see a Rebecca come down this turn to get that Hina in play. It's going to be using the minus effect on, I think it was the Brook, so probably with the Amano Murakuma, the leader swing was minusing the Nami, and then the Hina did the Brook, so then that Amano Murakuma bottom decks a 2 cost or less and a 1 cost or less. Great inclusion in OP06 for the Sakazuki deck, and so drawing that 8 cost kid, this 8 cost kid has started spiking recently in price in the last couple months and has proved to be valuable in the Uta decks. A lot of Uta decks that I've seen are playing this card as a at least 3 of, and so going to be starting off with the leader effect, grabbing that blocker Uta. That blocker Uta is very valuable, going to be able to essentially stop a rested character from being attacked by reactivating its end of turn effect to bring up by discarding an event. So going to be thinking about what they want to do in terms of swings. They definitely want to put a character down this turn, I feel like. So it's going to be the Mihawk. So not putting down a character actually at this point. Going to be swinging a 7 with the Mihawk and going to be taking that life. It's going to be another Amano Murakuma, not allowing the trigger to go off, and then a 7k swing is going to go off of that Usopp, and a 2k 1k counter is going to come off of that. And so not opting to put a character down, saying, okay, you're going to need to go for board now that you're at 1 life. You know I'm invincible in hand, so you're going to have to try to build threats around that. And so looking at the hand, seeing what they can do, they either need to bottom deck these characters or get rid of them by swinging. And so they have the Amano Murakuma, right? And with the Great Eruption, they're going to be able to get rid of both of these characters. But the problem is you don't have any blockers outside of the Borsalino to stop multiple swings. And with that backlight that they show, that is, I don't think backlight is in the hand for the Uta, but it is a card that they're probably playing. That would rest the Borsalino, and so you would feel way more comfortable if you can get another blocker on field this turn. So going to think about what they want to do exactly. They could put a body if they don't find a Rebecca and instead play the Rob Lucci, right? Could use the Great Eruption and Rob Lucci combo if they want to, just to put another body on field and continue the pressure. So going to attach 1 Dawn and swing 4 to the Mihawk, seeing if they can get rid of it. And they're thinking about pitching the Uta blocker. The Uta blocker would go away, but honestly, you want to get them to use as many resources as possible to get rid of these characters, and 1 less swing is essentially some resources because you get them to use a Dawn. So pitching that Uta away is going to put the Sakazuki in a little bit more awkward of a position than they were before. Still not awful, but with 4 life left on the Uta, you're definitely not feeling great at this point, knowing that they have an I'm invincible in hand. So thinking about how they want to do this in this turn, I do think probably using the Great Eruption and Rob Lucci. I mean, you use leader effect first, right? You get rid of the Tashigi or the Borsalino, one of the two that you feel like is more appropriate. If you don't find the Rebecca, right? The Rebecca to be able to grab, a blocker and put it on field, and then also put something in hand, maybe a 2K counter. You definitely could go the Rob Lucci route. And so going to use that leader effect after getting that life off of the Hina swing is going to be an Ice Age. So Ice Age is not going to help you. And also might as well go get that Rob Lucci. First play that Great Eruption to minus the character that you didn't or that you're not going to minus off of the leader swing. So going to be minusing, I think, the Mihawk, and then probably swinging the rest of the Dawn, or pretty close. Going to be swinging 6 now, minusing the Mihawk or the Usopp, one of the two. I think they just noted that the Mihawk is the Mihawk and the Usopp are 2 1s. So probably playing this Rob Lucci, and then maybe also using a TCG to try to find like a 2K counter to put in hand. It would get you overall the +1 counter and also just really help you out. But drawing a life off of that one, it's going to be that 4-cost Sanji, another 2K counter in hand. Going to be playing the TCG first to see if there's a blocker. I do like this idea. They're not going to find a blocker that they can play. You can't grab the Sabo off of this, but you don't have enough Dawn to play him anyways. So going to be grabbing at least some counter. If they survive this turn, they can play that Sabo. Maybe not actually switching it up potentially. They're thinking about what they maybe want to grab, and I think you probably grab something with counter, but opting for the Hound Blaze instead. So putting the rest on the bottom, going to be that Hound Blaze, and playing that Rob Lucci like I mentioned. Going to be getting rid of both of these characters, putting back the Gecko Moria and 2 Great Eruptions. Those are both cards that you can't get at all once they've hit the bin, so you got to put them back in the deck, and just passing the turn now to the Uta. So Uta drawing a card. It's going to be another Kid blocker, so no backlight at this point, so you can't win the game, I don't think, unless you find it off of a leader swing. So maybe using New Genesis first to start the turn to see if they could find a backlight overall, or maybe something to help out. And I'm Invincible is a good option if you don't find a backlight. Now having 2 of them in hand at what I think is 9 Dawn overall, you could attach 3 to the leader and swing 8 3 times overall. You need 2 of them to hit in order to win. And honestly, if you don't play like the Kid blocker or any of these other cards, I'm not 100% sure if you can survive the turn. You do have a couple 2K counters and also the Usopp, so you may actually be able to get around a couple of the swings, and they may have to commit the blocker to go for game if they don't distribute their Dawn well enough. So it looks like they might go this route of swinging in. So attaching 3, swinging 8's going to put a Brook in their hand. That's 1 more counter. And so this 8K swing right here, they don't have much counter in hand, only 1K, and that's very telling, letting the Borsalino go at this point. And so if the Uta re-stands right here through the I'm Invincible, going to be getting another 8, and it's going to hit life. The only thing, actually there's nothing that could save them from another 8K swing. This is why I was so bent on getting the Sabo blocker, because the Sabo blocker, if that last life was a 2K counter, they could have allowed it to happen. And so the Uta is going to make it to the finals. It's not a new deck in Japan, only a new deck in the rest of the world, but it is a new showcase on the top stage, the biggest stage so far this year in Japan, making it to the Japanese National Championships. Very, very exciting. Uta just showing off how strong it can be in its super fast, quick paced aggression with swarming characters on the field, and then using I'm Invincible to really close out a strong end game. So very, very good job playing to those outs. It was a fun match to watch, and I can't wait to see them in the final. We'll have to see who they face off against. I'll show you a little preview, and it looks like it's going to be, oh, we're going to watch the other top 4 match. Oh, okay. So the next video is actually going to be the other top 4 match. I thought they were going to go straight into the final. So make sure to click the subscribe button and the notifications to see that in the future. We will also watch the finals. There will be 2 more videos coming in this. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. And yeah, let me know how you like the video.